countdown and everything. So let's see where they start. It's like a pretty generic start point, not too far away from vanilla.
Yeah, and getting a shop with a candle right away, it's a bit pricey for randomizer, a little bit normal, or a bit more than normal. With these type of flags, usually you'll find the runners taking a candle from the Take Anyone You Want cave, but if they happen to come into early money, I can definitely see both of these runners purchasing that candle.
Looks like we've already found the prescription paper to hopefully get them a potion if and when they desire to get it. Be interesting to see what exactly that price point will be, because it is pretty important with the second quest enemies and overworld and such.
Definitely one of the big changes with the second quest overworld is the difference in rupees, where first quest has three different secrets that will usually give 100 rupees. Second quest only has one of those.
BT attempted to check the Armos screen where the blue ring shop usually is. Unfortunately, he got chased away from the staircase and killed before he could see it. Seems like a pretty common strategy in the bracket rounds of this tournament is to go ahead and try and locate the Armos I have to see if they can get something for free early.
Yeah, it's going for the Armos items is generally, good, you know, with just about any flags that you can play with. Because if you can get, a white sword early, a red candle, heck, even one of the boomerangs, something to give you some sort of offensive capabilities, because the wood sword, can be found in any open cave, and sometimes those are in the far corners of the map, difficult to get to.
So, quick check of the any roads to see. It looks like we at least have an access point to Death Mountain.
Yeah, and I think I caught one of the raft spots, the normal level 4 in first quest, level 5 in second quest, which drastically reduces the chances of the raft being a needed item.
Yep, unlike the Power Bracelet and Flute, the Raft doesn't gain any spots in second quest overworld, so it doesn't really have as much of a use as it does even in first quest. It looks like, based on his skin selection, it's probably the regular boomerang.
Yep, confirming that with BT's end as well.
So it looks like we've got a bit of the northeast and a bit of vanilla start. Looks like Deadwoods, Graveyard, southeast, or Death Mountain perhaps for our wood sword this seed. It's the question, chat. I'm not sure if it's at max, but the door repair charge is certainly quite high. We see 8 gen up in the HUD. The HUD clip's particularly useful in this screen when it has Lionels on it because it's hard to get them away from that staircase if you come in from the left side, and if you come in from the right, it's just hard in general to get past them all.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how much further he can get on his half heart. Hopefully to the fountain so he can get over towards the waterfall, but we'll see. Meanwhile, it looks like BT's is heading towards the southeast, maybe to check the coast for the coast item and hopefully have the wood sword down there as well.
Ooh, extremely cheap bombs. Unfortunately, 8 Gen not having 2 rupees to spare at the moment.
Yep, it also looks like the meat is not too pricey. It's not cheap, but it's not pricey either. And there is the wood sword on the coast cave near the coast ladder spot, and the coast item will be the other boomerang. So probably not going to head back there with the ladder.
Right, BT getting that bomb drop that he was looking for. He's gonna go check the 2 caves here down along the south, most likely.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few of the open caves, but surprisingly low on dungeon count so far. I think we're still at 0. On top of that, looks like moblins rolled a little bit higher than they normally are. They can roll plus or minus 4 their HP from the vanilla game.
Oh, the commentator's curse at work. We do have our first dungeon sighting over on BT's side. And an early compass. If I had to wager a guess, I'd say this is probably 7? No, it is 3.
It's a very difficult start spot to actually determine whether or not it's 3 or 7 because there's so many on that column that lead to the right. And it's easy to get it mixed up for sure. So it looks like he's going to hope to find a key or two to hopefully progress up into this northern part of level 3 and find the item staircase. It is one of the smaller dungeons. And Ategenos is going to go ahead and pick up his candle from the Take Any One shop as opposed to waiting for the rupees to get collected. So I don't really blame him.
No, it's, like I said, it's very, very rare that you'll actually find, both the candle shop and the rupees to pick up a candle in a shop before getting one from a Take Any. And both of these players are extremely talented. I don't think, the make or break of one heart container is going to do much for them.
Looks like I saw Virus go down in one hit on BT side, so that's going to be really useful for collecting bombs in some of these dungeons that they managed to spawn into.
And unfortunately, bombs don't seem to be the issue. It looks like, BT is just kind of key blocked or ladder blocked at every turn.
Yep, and unfortunately, there aren't any shutter doors or any bomb holes that he can bomb open to potentially Kanana key his way through either. So he's just going to pick up his Triforce in 3 and come back when he has a key, probably. BT's has taken his wood sword advantage and added on a Triforce. It's going to be interesting to see how far ahead he can get in levels before 8 Gen heads down to the coast.
Well, 8 Gen does have his own advantage with having that candle already, and there's just so many spots he can open up. And we've got both of our players in dungeons now at this point.
Looks like a power bracelet on Ategenos' side. I haven't quite figured out what level he's in yet, although being on that side of the dungeon down in the corner leads me to maybe guess at either 6 or 7.
Yeah, either way, it's based on the dungeon shape. It's not 1, it's not 8, meaning the power bracelet's going to be the only item in there. Very wise decision to just kind of take it and get out, especially with, no sword.
BT side potentially level 8.
Yeah, based on the shape, it very well much, is looking like the lion.
So he's going to be looking for 2 more staircases, which both will house items, and he's probably hoping to see one of our key items for this seed, the bow or the silver arrows. And gets tempted by the Triforce, but is going to decide against it for the time being. Answer the question in chat. Neither runner has usable audio. Ategenos has some issues with his audio, and BT's has elected not to go with game audio today. Looks like HN's hoping that the Death Mountain Cave has his wood sword and check the PB spot on the way up there, but
Yeah, it's definitely a good play with the power bracelet because there are 2 spots in Death Mountain that you can use the power bracelet for. Does allow you to get up there, check that one open cave. I assume he's headed towards the coast now.
and we find another bomb shop, so it looks like that's definitely not going to be the rare shop. And it appears BT's has figured out which level he's in now as he's bombing into the spots in the northeast of 8. And unfortunately finds the mugger room, which looks to be rupees or heart, and he says, nope, you're not blocking anything, so I'll just up A. And Ategenos at almost 14 minutes now has his wood sword and is also going to discover that he's not going to be back for the coast item.
Meanwhile, BT is still kind of rooting around level 8. With 2 items in there, it's, very compelling to keep going till you find at least one of them. It's also kind of want to keep an eye on his keys because, as we've seen so far, it's been a fairly, key unfriendly seed.
It does seem like the Pentaforce tournament in general leads to some key starvation seeds because runners are trying to get to 9 fairly quickly as opposed to the full 8 Triforce flags that we ran for the previous tournament.
Yeah, and then it looks like I didn't catch what exactly was blocking BT, but I'm assuming there's some sort of block that's just causing him to get the Triforce and leave without either item.
I saw a shutter door and another room with some undesirable enemies. I'm not sure if there was anything past that.
I know there was one room that wasn't really blocking anything that had a Goma in it, so it's possible there was another room that was blocking that was, with a Goma.
Looks like 8 Gen is now in level 3 as well. He's going to find the same unfortunate circumstances that led BT to have to leave. And that is a complete lack of keys.
Well, BT now has the money. He's gonna buy his candle, which will allow him to get some overworld exploration done on his end.
It will be interesting to see if he works his way down to level 3 again with that one key in hand.
Yeah, I'm thinking if I were personally routing this, I'd probably do what seems to be doing is kind of go up, get the burning spots, past level 1, come down the forest to do all that burning, and then go back into level 3 if I hadn't found anything else.
It looks like that awkward second quest burn brush has a dungeon in it. And judging by the way he's going about this level or this dungeon, it may be dungeon number 5. As BT's finds level
Rooms,
6, I want to say.
but yeah, I would agree that HN seems to be in level 5. BT is getting his power bracelet, which will open up more overworld exploration on his end as well.
Thanks to HN looking at his tracker in game, we now can confirm that it is level 5.
And on BT's end, this room having the doorway up, I'm pretty sure this is going to be 7, not 6.
It's certainly an interesting decision on his end as to whether or not he wants to stick around in level 7 or if he wants to leave it. Because for me, I dislike being in there unless I feel like I am at the disadvantage against my opponent.
Well, there have been plenty of races so far in this tournament where 7 has been the make it or break it point. But yeah, it's also especially, with the item being, one room away from start. I personally also would, not wander around in 7 unless I knew I had to.
The only thing I can think of is maybe because he hasn't seen a whole lot of dungeons yet, maybe he's considering the fact that some of them might be blocked. Looks like Agent did find the raft in level 5.
Exactly.
It's a nice ladder clip there by beeteas to get that last Gibdo taken down. Or not ladder clip, but river clip. Looks like perhaps HN's considering going towards the coast to see if that raft is useful in the seed. So we'll get a quick glance at whether it is or isn't required. And it's just a casino, so not so useful in the seed. HN collects heart number 5, so he has a 66% chance at the white sword item, which I don't believe we've seen yet, so it could still be quite important.
There still is quite a portion of the overworld left to be explored. HN still got a good chunk of Death Mountain to explore, the whole kind of eastern half of it, which in second quest, just about every screen there has some sort of cave opening. There's still the recorder to be found, which I think there's about 10 different spots on the overworld that can be opened with the recorder.
I stand corrected on our white sword item. It was apparently the red candle in Death Mountain.
Ah, I missed it as well then.
Thanks to our tracker Norastra catching that.
Ooh, 8 Gen finding the red ring. Always a welcome sight.
Is he in level 1? I'll wait to see where he's at. Looks like BT's has decided 4 keys is enough for him to find this item in level 3.
The question is, which key door does he try to go through first? Because there's basically 3 different sections of the dungeon that are blocked off. He chooses up.
This is a reverse C room, but I believe the reverse C in level 3 is typically a drop room.
Correct. In vanilla, it usually has a key in there.
I say that, and of course there'll be 2 reverse Cs, and this will be the item drop room.
It's sure why I'm. Yeah, it's. Getting a little tongue-tied. That's why I'm sure BT killed it, just in case it was a push block. But he does get his key back.
He was hoping that block would push, but unfortunately he's going to have to explore a different part of 3 to find his item.
Meanwhile, 8 Gen getting a heart in the normal Aquamentus room.
And it looks like we do have the right-hand staircase. It's normally in 3 as the staircase, and it is the
Oh,
ladder.
wow, that can be big. We know the item out on the coast isn't anything to be excited about, but definitely will be, a weight off of BT's mind with exploring some of the later dungeons.
It depends on what HN finds in level 1, but it looks to me like BT certainly has the early lead now that he's found that ladder in 3. Just depends on when HN will go back if it is in fact needed to finish the seed. We also did find the big secret underneath one of our push blocks near the desert, and it was 87, so not ideal, but not terrible either.
Yeah, considering BT has already, purchased his candle, I think the only thing left I'd see him potentially uh, purchasing is arrows or bait. But I know if it was me, I personally wouldn't purchase arrows until having found the bow.
It's definitely a difficult call to make in second quest overworld. It's a little bit easier in first quest to value the wood arrow purchase. HN's back into level 1, still trying to find the floor item.
Up in chat saying that BT has bought arrows, which it does confirm by that, so I am bad at multitasking and paying attention. My apologies, chat. Well, BT has wandered his way into Dungeon 5 with the ladder, able to pick up the heart that was just sitting there in the beginning. And picking up the Triforce there as well.
It may have been a bit of a Y-Force situation as he was basically standing on top of where it spawned.
Right. And then 8-Gen getting the Triforce out of level 1. I did miss if he picked up the floor drop item or not.
Well, he looks to have the A under his key column, so my guess would be he found the any key on the floor.
Ah, good point.
I was wondering too why he ran back to the Triforce room and looked up and was pleasantly surprised to see that he did find it. So he also buys the arrows and decides to go ahead and save his progress at this point.
BT's finding his raft.
He did take a look at level 5 again. I think he realized that that was not exactly where he wanted to be.
He's got a fair amount of keys, already has the heart, the Triforce, the item. There's not much left in there.
Looks like we found another dungeon on Agent, so I have to see exactly which dungeon this is shortly.
Based on what there is still left to find, my gut instinct wants to call this 2.
It looks like he'll have to find another way down, but if it is two, there'll be two columns for him to utilize, and there shouldn't be any blocks outside of an old man.
No, that bomb door is definitely not 2. 6 probably then?
Well, not the kindest of enemy sets, whichever dungeon ends up being here, as we have more blue wizrobes.
True, but we do have to recall that Ategenos has the red ring on his side, so I don't think he's too scared of the wizrobes at this point. Oh, and chat confirming, this is 8 again. So first time that Ategenos been in here. So more than likely he's gonna wander around and then get stuck, much like BT was.
My apologies, I looked at the difference between the two that they're on and did not realize that that was the same color as 8.
I missed it too.
Looks like HN's seen the passageway staircase and has decided I'm not going to take a look at it just yet. This is a rather beefy man handle to fight with your wood sword.
And BT, fortunately, getting sniped by Lionel's sword.
So will HN find a way that BT could not find with his any key, or will he also get stuck by Gomas and or the ladder blocks that exist in 8? It's like Agent's going to elect to pick up Triforce piece number 4, so he's only one away from potentially entering level 9 once he finds it, and we have yet to see it.
And we've also yet to see the bow or the silver arrow, so even if they do get 5 Triforces and find 9, you gotta try and make that gamble. It's, do I want to bet both the bow and silver arrow are going to be in 9? Do you want to explore a little bit of 9 and then risk having to leave? All sorts of decisions to be made.
I know my personal decision revolves a lot around having the book for the hints that are in 9 so that I can find Zelda, Ganon, and maybe the hints to tell me whether or not silvers are in that dungeon. But without the book, I would probably not make the play yet. Speaking of the book, we found the hint shop on Death Mountain on BT side. I do believe we are starting to run a little bit low on overworld spots outside of a few push block spots and a few recorder spots. It's a double mugger room 8, so 2 old men are taken by the mugger room so far, but he does find a staircase by walking down through it. And decides that he doesn't even want the heart. Achen must feel blocked out of the other item in 8 as he has left it behind.
Yep. And also using a good strategy there, he was hit by a red bubble, so he actually saves, goes back to the file select screen, and restarts from there to get the access of a sword back. Meanwhile, BT has found his way into Dungeon 1. It looks like 8gen's going to be going back into 3, so he'll be getting his ladder here shortly.
Certainly does seem like both runners are going to end up at about the same point here shortly, with the exception being an any key on one side and just 7 keys on the other. Then again, BT's is in 1, and that is where the any key's at, so if he happens upon it, he will actually be right at the same point that HN's at.
I would almost say 8gen's got a bit of a knowledge lead because he's seen one of the items in 8 where BT hasn't.
Yep, I do think HN is slightly in the lead, but it's quite hard to say exactly how long it'll take BT to find the items in 1. And if you were able to perhaps find both items here shortly, he might consider going back up to 8 with the ladder, and that would perhaps change things once again. Jen is back in 8. He's making a beeline towards the bottom of the dungeon, so I think he believes that the item staircase is most likely to be down here.
Oh, and it is the bow.
Yep, so very important to go back to level 8 on BT side as one of the 2 big items in the seed has now been found. And BT's has also worked his way up very quickly here to 11 hearts, so with Mags now being a 40% chance, if he happens to route by the magical sword and finds it, he may consider picking that up if the seed has been generous enough to make it 10 or 11 hearts.
So 8gen is now checking the 2 spots along the river that require the ladder to get, opting to buy a red potion.
Oh, and 9 is on the river. Ladder blocked. It won't necessarily impact BT's ability to find it, but Certainly, if he forgets to check his second quest spots, it'll slow him down just a little bit.
BT has wandered himself into finding the A key.
It looks like he's checked his map and decided he will go up into this northeastern part of 1, so he'll also find the red ring. So a bit of an item rundown since we have some questions as to where items were. The regular boomerang was the Armos item. The magic boomerang was the coast ladder spot. And the red candle was the white sword. Level 1 had the any key and the red ring. Level 3 had the ladder. Level 5 had the raft. Level 7 has the power bracelet. Level 8 has the heart container and the bow.
Yep, I believe 8gen's in level 6 right now, and I don't believe we've seen any sign of 2 or 4.
I would definitely agree to this being level 6 given where he's at on the map. And the bomb upgrade is 3 rupees more expensive than it is in vanilla, but he has nowhere near enough rupees to afford it.
BT having a little trouble locating the correct section of the River 2 bomb, but he has found level 9.
Certainly doesn't help when you've got a bunch of Octrox giving you the business find that bomb hole.
Jen finding the Triforce, opting to leave it for now in hopes of finding the silver arrows here.
Don't blame him at all. You don't want to leave level 6 without exploring the rooms around the Triforce. If you do that, there's always a chance you could be leaving behind something of extreme importance.
Unfortunately, magical sword not quite available to BTs yet.
Yeah, that's definitely the one thing that HN's unable to get anytime soon that BT could potentially get. And that would also close the gap between the two runners just a little bit and make this an interesting conclusion. That being said, we haven't yet explored level 9. We haven't found the silver, so it is still anybody's game. It looks like Ategenos is a little bit confused as to the bomb spots, or perhaps he's just blocked off by walls that don't bomb. So he's going to get the Triforce for level 6 and head straight back in. And it looks like we basically have both of our runners going room for room through level 6 looking for the item.
8-Gen definitely having the advantage in some of these Pole's voice rooms because of having the bow.
BT's got to be a little bit careful here. He's only on half a heart of health. Bot from pretty much anything is going to take him out. Unfortunately, gets hopped into by the Pole's voice, and we'll have to make another effort at that room. Other unfortunate part about the bow not being in BT's hands is that staircase, I believe, is the only way to really get up into that northeastern part of level 6 to get the Triforce, and that piece will be potentially the piece he needs to get into level 9.
BT's is definitely going to be making the effort here, attacking the Pole's voice.
Right, there's an old man in one of the rooms that HN couldn't bomb into. Let's see if he can't find his way into this room with a bomb hole, and yes, it does exist. And there's the item staircase.
And it is the book.
Wow, we had that called in chat too. Someone called that book. So I believe Ategenos or HN, depending on what you want to call him by, he doesn't care. He has 3 dungeons of items left outstanding. 2, 4, and 9. I think he's definitely going to try and look for 2.
Yeah, I would imagine he's going to finish clearing out Death Mountain while he's here. And should he not find 2 or 4, probably make his way into 9. I don't want to try and pull a commentator's curse here, but my gut instinct is saying Recorder's going to be in 9, and then he's going to have to leave and find either 2 or 4 to get the silvers.
Well, that'd be an interesting seed, but I'm going to go with Recorder and Silvers both being in 9, and he'll find the Recorder first and have to come to a decision as to whether or not he continues digging or not.
Meanwhile, BT's still trying to go up north in 6, back in this room that finished him off earlier. And managing to make it through this time. He's got to be careful, because even with the red ring, he's only got 1 heart, and if he dies, he's going to have to clear that whole room out again.
What's particularly painful about the maze room from the bottom doorway is they like walking down that little path and straight into the door and walking back and forth and right in front of you.
If he can get through this room, I believe one of the bomb men is directly north of this, so he has the money to be able to refill his bombs, but unfortunately it looks like the blue wizrobes rolled really high hit points.
Yep, looks like he got tagged once, but he has half a heart left to go through level 6 and find his item.
Yep, and he does opt to purchase the bomb upgrade, getting the maximum of +6. Meanwhile, 8gen has begun his descent into level 9, opting to go through staircases as he finds them.
Yep, that seems to be the general strategy if you're looking for the items in level 9, is you can take 2 out of 14 every time you find a transport staircase.
It is the method that I choose to use personally as well, but I have seen the argument for just going in, seeing it's a staircase, and then continuing on to kind of take out chunks of level 9 at a time rather than spacing yourself all over the map by taking the random staircases.
Looks like BT is going to have to continue fighting through the blue wizrobes in the maze room as he took another death, so it's been a little bit unfortunate so far.
Well, found the first item of level 9. It's the white sword. Offense upgrade is good, but I'm sure it's not what 8gen was looking for.
So what's the other item at 9 going to be?
Oh, we've got a compass find, so we know exactly where Zelda is.
H's making quick work of the staircases in this level 9. He's already found 4 sets of transport staircases and 1 of the item staircases, so he's only got 5 left to look at.
Right, so BT finally fought his way through level 6, picking up his book, which is definitely useful, but I'm sure, again, it's not what he was looking for at this point.
Yeah, especially with just spending all those rupees on the bomb upgrade, he doesn't have all that many left to look at what the hint shops might show him. But he did just find another secret, so he can afford at least one of them. I do believe we are also getting very close to the recorder being required to be in level 9, given how many spots they've checked on the overworld. BTs is finally making his way back into 8, and as we know, that is where one of the 2 items he needs to finish the game are at. And fortunately for HN, he hit the orbital that was being used to determine whether or not the Patra goes back and forth between his 2 patterns or goes and expands and contracts completely over and over again.
Well, BT picking up his bow. He has not seen the heart container, which is the other item in 8, so I am inclined to believe he's still going to be looking around in 8 until he finds that other item. Making real quick work of the blue whiz robes there in this room, which makes me wonder about the way their hit points rolled and if he was just getting really, really unlucky in 6.
Certainly had more bomb luck here. Fortunately, the heart container is somewhere in the middle of level 8, so he has to up A and try again in some of the other rooms. And unfortunately, on HN side, we found the 3rd mugger of the seed in level 9, so that'll swallow one of the hints up. The information that he needs in level 9, at this point, we don't know if he's heard Ganon, but based on his coverage, we would have to assume that he either has or will shortly. The other hints he could get would be the quadrant of silvers, or if they're elsewhere, or Zelda's location / the compass, which I believe is the one he's found.
And we've got our other item. It is the recorder.
Yep, you called that quite some time ago. It looks like Ategenos is going to have to go look somewhere else for the silver arrows.
BT finding the heart container in 8, opting to pick it up. And with that save, I imagine he's going to make another pass for the magical sword since it's so close to start.
Magical Sword was a 12 heart pickup this seed. So now BT's is caught up and surpassed HN in terms of combat.
Yeah, but BT still only has 4 pieces of Triforce, so he's still got to at least go pick another one up before even attempting to get into 9 to find that recorder. So right now, 8 Gen has the lead. Finds 2, finds the wand, and nopes out of there.
Well, we now know the answer for where the silver arrows are at. They're in level 4.
As we've just kind of passed the hour mark in the game, both players have probably got to be thinking, where is the other one at? Just kind of glancing, where's that dot done?
Definitely feeling the pressure on BT's side as he's yet to even get into level 9 as he hasn't had the heart or the Triforce pieces to get in there. HN, meanwhile, is in level 4 and has found the staircase with the silver, so he is in go mode.
Yeah, fortunately for HN, both 2 and 4 were there in the desert close to one another, kind of in a grouped cluster of recorder spots.
So now it's just a question of securing the path to Ganon and Zelda.
And unfortunately, because we don't have, usable audio for either of our racers here, we really have no idea where Ganon is, if 8gens even heard him already or not. Oh, well, that answers that.
Yep, apparently Ganon was pretty much right next to the entry of level 9. You couldn't walk past him.
Beautiful stun lock on 8gen's side. Fortunately for BT, he is able to bomb out of that room, so he's not going to have to up an A and lose all his health.
Looks like so far, HN's been able to walk towards the general direction of Zelda. Will he have a room in? Yes,
Oh,
he does.
All right, and with that, 8gen has an official SRL time of 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 9 seconds. Let's see those GGs in chat for 8gen. But now that BT has already picked up his magical sword, he's got no qualms giving up the heart to the take your or leave your money or life man.
It'll be interesting to see how long it takes him to get to the 2 items in level 9.
And then the question is, if he finds the recorder first, will he stay in 9 to try and see if the silvers are the second item, or will he dip out and look for the other dungeons?
If he goes up one more room as opposed to taking the staircase, he will find the recorder. He's gonna take a staircase here, and if he takes that staircase, which looks like he's gonna pass up for now, it would have taken him one below the white sword. That staircase that he passed up takes you all the way down into the bottom left of Skull, and one room above that would be the staircase to the second item.
But yeah, it's here we do see him actually taking this staircase, but he's been kind of taking the other kind of option where rather than taking every single staircase, you kind of just continue along one path, clearing out. He may be, looking for Zelda as he goes, hoping to find the shutter door that doesn't open. Which, if he does opt to clear this room out of ropes, he will find it. And sure enough, he does clear the room, knows where Zelda is if he's paying attention. I know sometimes when you're going through 9, you just kind of glance over those types of details.
Unfortunately, the bomb wall doesn't open up towards the white sword, so I have to up an A and look for another route over there. Leave a few bombs up in this room, which is going to potentially do once he looks down here. You will find staircase that will take him one above that item, so he's gonna have yet another chance to find his way to the white sword.
Fortunately, taking a hit from that red bubble, so he has lost temporary use of his sword, dipping back down to get a blue bubble, so get it back. Red and blue bubbles are my least favorite of the second quest enemies, and we do have 8gen with us now. Congratulations, sir.
What a seed. Thank you.
Why don't you go ahead and talk us through a bit of what was going on through your head there near the end?
I think my heart rate's below 180 again, so that's good. BT, I was just waiting for the dot done from BT. I don't know. Like, it was one of those things where when I found the white sword, I knew the recorder was in 9, so I knew I was going to have to leave. I didn't want to leave 6 because it was up on Death Mountain, so I went back in, found the book, which basically did nothing. I don't think I found a useful hint at all. So that was kind of disappointing, but eliminated an item. I think the power bracelet was in 7, and that was one room in, which was fantastic. Wasn't actually useful, but just goes to show that going into 7 is the right choice.
Yep, you both found the power bracelet one room in, so that was not really a huge difference maker in this seed. I would say the two decisions that helped you win the race were after you got the ladder, you went directly back to 8 and found the bow, whereas BT had to go through level 6's Pull's voice room and then through a whole bunch of whiz robes to find the book, and he didn't actually find the Triforce until going back with the bow.
Ouch. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I went back to 8. Like, I was really peeved, I guess, that it was ladder blocked. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm gonna go find the item. So I went to 3 because outside of bombing Death Mountain, which I did not want to do at the time, everything else was basically recorder spots. So I figured, let's go back to 3. I didn't have a key when I got there because everything was key blocked, which was annoying. But the any key pickup was pretty nice.
Yeah, it looks like BT has decided he has had enough as he has found his white sword in 9. So give it up to him anyways. He tried his best to catch up with the magic sword to 8 gen, just wasn't able to do it.
Man, another magic sword pickup. That's pretty odd, actually. We don't see that very often. I think I saw it when I had 3 hearts, which wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, it was a 12 heart pickup. BT tried at 11, and then after he got the heart container item out of 8, he did a save and quit, and since it was just 2 screens away from start, he opted to check it again.
Yeah, it's always nice to get. Things weren't too terribly beefy other than orange wizrobes. Everything else was fairly nice HP, so that was always good. But yeah, once I saw the white sword of 9, I knew there had to be a recorder, and with all the recorder spots all over the world, the fact that both dungeons were in the desert was incredibly nice. But I don't know, it was a crazy seed. Went everywhere, couldn't find anything. Made the tactical choice to not go south to the coast cave, which had the sword naturally. So that was my last open cave. So it took me a while to get the sword, which was a bit frustrating, but it happens. And I don't know. Other than that, it was just finding items relatively quickly in the dungeons that I didn't want to get a Triforce in. So
Looks like BT was looking to see if the raft spot they didn't check happened to be level 4, but
yeah, I think I had that one. Excuse me. That one power bracelet spot left there by the desert, and I was terrified that was going to be a level. I knew at least one had to be recorder blocked, but if that was the one with the silvers, that would have been terrible.
Yeah, the power bracelet that's, normally the take any road there by the desert was the 100 secret for a whole whopping 87 rupees.
Yeah, which I got at the end. I don't remember what I bought with the money. Arrows, maybe? I don't remember. Or nothing. I don't really remember. I guess I went straight to 2 and 4 after that, so nothing.
I can't recall what you bought. I know BT bought a bomb upgrade in level 6.
How many
Speaking of
was that?
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hey.
GG, man.
No, just G.
I really want to thank you for the opportunity to re-race, honestly.
Well, I hope you learned a valuable lesson.
Always dig 7 because the item's 1 room in.
The power bracelet?
Yeah, that
I
did
have that.
nothing. It was very disappointing.
I don't know where one of the levels is, I guess.
You don't know where 2 of the levels are, actually. It's irritating.
Yep, you needed the item that you got in 9. That's your hint.
Yeah, I know the only thing I have left are recorder spots, but that makes me even... Like, I had a rough time getting 5 Triforces, and I got the only 5 that I could. So how was he able to get in and out of 9 that fast?
He had the bow a lot earlier than you did, which made traversing through 6 a lot quicker with the Pole's voice.
Oh, he didn't stab them each 14 times?
No, I did
No.
not.
One at a time because they refused to group up?
They had 14 HP. That's horrible.
Yeah, I was screaming into my player 2 controller, but nothing was happening.
Fred, we need that feature, man. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I did everything that I could, and I had Death Mountain and recorder spots left. And I was like, well, I'd found level 1, got the any key. I was ladder blocked in 8, and so I'm like, well, I couldn't go into 3 because I didn't have a key. So let's go back to 3, and it had the ladder, and then I just figured, well, I'm pissed because I was ladder blocked in 8, so I'll go back to level 8, and it had the bow. So, and then I had bought arrows after that or before that. I don't remember, but I guess it turned out to be a good play.
Yeah, I give up. I can't find anything.
Yep, they are both in the desert.
I was like super excited when I found level 9 because I was like, no one ever looks here for level 9. And I was like, all right, I'll just get my 5 Triforce and I'll pop back into 9. Bank that the bow and silver arrow are in there, and then I found the bow after 6 let me down.
Yeah, I found the white sword first, and I had gotten every other item available in every other dungeon I could get to. So I knew that 9 had to have the recorder, which made me super nervous because playing somebody of your caliber, it's like, now I have to go back out, and it's another one of those things that even if if one person goes a different direction to check recorder spots, it could make all the difference in the world.
Who got their wood sword first?
You did.
By far. Last cave. I made a tactical decision to go check the Armoses and never went down to the coast cave until I checked every other cave.
Yeah, I don't think I would play that seed differently if I played it again 100 times.
I mean, the only real difference in the seed was how fast 2 runners decided to go back to level 8 and find that bow, because that was really the biggest time sink and difference between the two.
Not
So
really. I have like another 8 minutes to go. I don't spend 8 minutes stabbing Pole's voice.
And then I also think he had full health by the time he went back through level 6 to find the book. Did you get the Triforce and go back in, or?
Yeah, I got the Triforce, then went back in.
Another factor was HN found level 1 first, thus had the red ring first. So BT, you did end up taking a few more deaths than HN did, just due to the defense difference.
There we go. All 7 deaths on the screen.
And some of those deaths were fairly costly, like coming down from Quest 1 level 6 on the overworld and getting killed by the Lionel. So that set you back some time.
Oh yeah, those Lionels were jerks. They were like, here, I'll help you into the cave, but it will cost you 120% of your health.
Yep. And then BT, you also chose to keep digging 7 for quite a while after finding the power bracelet. Our assumption was you were looking for keys, but you spent quite a amount of time in there where 8gen just got the power bracelet and got out.
Keys, Triforce, and bombs. That was the goal. I found bombs, so I left.
I don't have too terribly much else to ask either runner. What about you, Taco?
Nope, we've pretty much covered all the talking points that I had jotted down. 8gen BT, do either of you have any closing comments?
Good luck with Zebjed, sir. This was all a strategy.
Yeah, right. And then if you win that race, you get to play RC drone. So that's so much better, right? I mean, it doesn't matter where you're at, loser bracket, top bracket, or top bracket. It's crazy.
I watched the end of the Fred match. I know what's up.
Yeah, but you are a world-class gentleman, sir. So don't ever forget that.
No more touching your console during races.
I shan't.
You're banned.
I shan't. And I don't stomp either. If I stomp in this room now, it'll do it. So I just sit here
Pooh Bear
quietly
strat?
and twice. Oh god, that was fantastic. Except it wasn't like him messing up his console. Maybe if I stomp hard enough, I can mess up yours.
I mean, I'm like the next closest Zelda runner to you.
Pretty much, yeah. That's kind of sad because we're hours and hours and hours apart. But
all right, well, that's it for me. It's Sunday, so let's all go to work tomorrow.
let's play 7th Saga first.
For you, no.
Oh, be sure to give both of these runners follows. Again, they're both extremely, high tier players. Very worth your time to pop in, watch them strut their stuff. I'm Xiaomei Lin. This has been my partner Fury SK. Thanks for coming out, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. So long, everybody.